Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today we're going to talk about some of my favorite sleeper baits. And by sleeper baits, what I mean is these are baits that a lot of anglers are sleeping on. They're not familiar with them or they haven't given them a try. And for me, these are baits that are mainstays in my arsenal right now. They are just hardcore fish catching machines. And from that standpoint, I think it's only a matter of time before you hear more people keeping them in their tackle boxes. I just think you're going to hear a lot more about these as they continue to grow because they've got a really hardcore following by the people that use them, and it's like slowly trickling out of those areas and spreading across the country is really what's happening. So let's talk about a couple of my favorite sleeper baits. But before I do get into that, I do want to remind you guys that if you're looking for more content from me or you want to support the channel, please check out my members only site. You can go to my YouTube homepage, click the join button, find out everything you need to find out regarding the members only page. You have extra content, monthly live stream, direct access to me to ask your questions. If that's what you're looking for, check out the members only page. Okay, so let's talk about the first one here. The first one here, I've talked about this a lot on the channel. This is the Bass Tricks Flash Tricks. It comes in a bunch of different sizes. And really, I mean, I've decided to do this video because I was just making some casts off the bank and caught a bunch of smallmouth on it. And it's really a bait that I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I first saw it come out, I was not I was not sold on it just based on the shape. I was like, well, what is this thing gonna do to generate strikes? I really thought it would be kind of just like a straight soft jerkbait style bait, but it's not at all like that. It's really impressive with the extremely tight wobbling motion that you get out of this bait. And it kind of depends on the different setups that you do. For me, I love to fish it on the hover rig. That's what I've got in it right now. But a lot of guys fish it in so many different manners. Some guys just put it on a drop shot. Some guys fish it with a traditional jig head style design. Other guys are actually wacky rigging with it, but you get a really tight wobble out of it. And when it's in the water, it is potentially the most minnow lifelike looking bait that I've seen. And it's just a bait that the fish have a really hard time denying. Now, on the West Coast, I gotta say, this has a really strong following. Bastrix is based out of the California area, and it's got a really, really good following over there. But I feel like as you move across the country, you just get a smaller user base on it. And this bait is phenomenal. I can't really say enough good things about it. It is one of my proven tournament baits that I throw on a regular basis. I've done enough videos on the channel where I think you guys, can see how effective it is. But it is a bait that if you haven't tried it, you should try it. And pretty much all the colors are killer colors. It's hard to go wrong with any of those colors. And I'll put links to all of these baits for Tackle Warehouse. Another great way to support the channel is do your purchasing through Tackle Warehouse using my affiliate links, which are in the video description. So that is by far one of my favorite sleeper baits. Another one that I talk about, I wouldn't say it regularly on the channel, but occasionally on the channel, is this guy right here. This is a Mps Bronze Slammer. They came out with this a few years ago. It's just a dynamite high level inline spinner. They have it again in a bunch of different sizes. Uh, it's just a fish catching machine. Like if you're looking to catch a bunch of fish, regardless of species, an inline spinner is one of the ways to go. And I've had probably my overall best luck with the Bronze Slammer, just based on like how well it's held up. A lot of times with some of the other ones that are on the market, I feel like if you're going to go out, like in my neck of the woods, you catch a ton of pike on them too, a ton of just bigger fish, toothy critters that can really destroy them. But this thing holds up extremely well, and the quality of hook on it is tournament grade quality. So if you're looking to put people on fish, it's a great way to fish it. And I gotta tell you guys, if you fish around smallmouth and spotted bass, try burning it, over deep water for them. If you've got suspended fish, they will come up and hammer it. Like right now, it's like on places like Lake Champlain, there are a lot of guys doing it, and they're keeping it very, very hush hush in the tournament world. Another one that is one of my absolute favorites in terms of new baits that's been out, and I've talked about it, excuse me, on the channel, is the Berkeley Finisher. I cannot believe that this thing has not taken off much better than it has. You know, when it came out, they came out with a bunch of other new baits from Berkeley. They came out with the Kredge and like the Power Switch at the same time, and I feel like those overshadowed this. But I honestly feel like most people don't understand the power of this bait and how it's not necessarily a forward-facing sonar bait. It's almost to the point it's almost not great for forward-facing sonar because it moves so much side to side that you do occasionally even lose it out of the uh, sonar cone. The reality is though that the bait just triggers fish into biting. It has such good erratic motion back and forth that everything, perch, crappie, walleye, bass, everything eats this thing. And from a color standpoint, because they do make it, they intend it for a lot of walleye as well. You can get a lot of crazy colors just like that one. I personally prefer the 7 size, but they've got a smaller and a larger, the 5 and 9. Again, I just think this is a matter of time before anglers really catch on to this. I mean, there are a bunch of guys I know that are using it very, very successfully, but they are also the individuals that will never tell anyone what they're catching the fish on. They keep everything on the DL. But I'm willing to bet you give it another year, another 2 years, and the finisher is gonna be a bait that is in everybody's tackle box. It's that good. I absolutely love it. I'll do more videos with it because it is kind of a tricky bait to figure out how to use, but it's just an awesome bait. It's a fun bait to use. Okay, so then the last one is this guy right here. Excuse me. So this is a chatterbait, which I know a lot of people are like, well, what about a chatterbait? Well, this is the Tackle Warehouse Custom ChatterBait, which in my opinion is one of the best bladed jigs on the market. There's a few things that are a little different with it. It's got a little like a little wire leader on it in terms of just giving it the movement, but there's something special about this bait. There are a lot of guys in the tournament world that will say that this is the best bladed jig on the market. I think it retails for like 6 or 7 bucks. I mean, it's half the price of say a jackhammer, but it's just a really good lower priced vibrating jig that like the inner circles know about in terms of how good it catches them, but just generally like is completely overshadowed by, you know, the jackhammer or the slobber knocker, some of the new stuff that's come out recently, because that's been around for a long time at this point. Like that was a Tackle Warehouse exclusive for, I mean, it's a long time. Uh, and it's got a really hardcore following of people, myself included. I love it. I use it quite a bit. And it's just a really good, really, really good vibrating jig. Um, and I'm surprised that that one hasn't caught on more either over the years. I mean, it does have its hardcore following, but it doesn't have the mainstream usage out of it that I would have expected. And maybe that's just because it's only sold at Tackle Warehouse. Very possible. But even with the reach that Tackle Warehouse has, I feel like it would be in more people's hands. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys use these baits? If so, do you agree? Are we sleeping on them? Or do you think that there's other baits out there that are better? I would love to know from you. And what are some of the baits that you guys think the rest of us are sleeping on? I'd love to hear from you guys as well. So throw that in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.